Once upon a time, there was a fisherman who lived alone in a simple cabin by the shores of a tranquil lake. He spent his days fishing and enjoying the beauty of nature. On a bright morning, while casting his net into the calm waters as usual, he felt an unusual weight in his net. At first, he thought he had caught a huge fish, but as he pulled the net to the surface, he was shocked by what he saw. There was a beautiful mermaid, with long hair shimmering like gold under the sun and eyes the color of the serene sea. The mermaid tried to free herself from the net, and when she saw the fisherman, she spoke to him in a gentle voice, saying, "Please free me. If you do, I will make you richer than you ever imagined." But the fisherman, with a clear and calm gaze, kindly replied, "I will not ask anything in return. I will free you because my honor prevents me from harming any creature, and I am not greedy to ask for a price for doing good." The mermaid looked at him in astonishment, touched by his generous heart and nobility. She did not expect this kind of response, as she was used to finding humans greedy and avaricious. But this fisherman was different. After seeing the sincerity in the mermaid's words, he smiled gently and began to carefully untangle the net around her until he completely freed her. As soon as the mermaid regained her freedom, she gracefully swam in the water, but quickly returned to stand before him again. She said firmly, tinged with gratitude, "You have shown a rare nobility among humans, but I cannot leave without rewarding you. I will not leave you empty-handed. So, I offer you a promise. Every day, among the fish you catch to sustain yourself, you will find a golden fish. This fish will be a symbol of my gratitude to you, and it will change your life for the better." The fisherman, despite his reluctance for any reward, saw the mermaid's insistence and hesitated a little. But in the end, he kindly agreed to her request after her urging. The mermaid smiled a gentle smile before diving into the depths of the lake and disappearing from sight. The next day, when the fisherman cast his net as usual, he found among the fish he caught a shiny golden fish, just as the mermaid had promised him. As days passed, the fisherman received the golden fish daily, selling it in the market and making a good profit. His wealth was not extravagant, but he began to live a decent life without worrying about the future. His life changed for the better, not only materially, but he also gained respect from the people of his village, and his happiness and peace of mind increased. Over time, the fisherman did not keep the money for himself only, but allocated a portion of everything he earned from the golden fish to the poor and needy in his village. He always believed that goodness multiplies when shared, and that his wealth would be meaningless if it did not help those around him. As time went by, the fisherman became beloved in his village not only for his generosity, but also for his noble character and humility. He distributed food to those in need, gave money to widows and orphans, and was always there for anyone who asked for help or support. The villagers noticed how greatly the fisherman's circumstances had improved, and how he did not forget them despite all the good he had received. Some said that God had blessed him in his livelihood because of his generosity and kindness. On a bright morning, the fisherman headed to the lake as usual, anticipating another generous day of fishing. Upon reaching the calm waters, he saw the beautiful mermaid he had once rescued, but she was not her usual self. She was writhing in pain and moaning weakly, alarming the fisherman. He approached her quickly and asked with concern, "What's happening? Why are you in so much pain?" The mermaid looked at him with tear-filled eyes and whispered, "Noble fisherman, I am in danger. I am about to give birth, but the evil emperor of our sea wants to take my baby. The sorcerers have foretold that this child will one day take his place as ruler, so he plans to steal my baby as soon as it is born. I escaped to the shore to try and give birth away from his grasp, but I need your help. Please, hide me and protect me. I don't want my child to lose its freedom." The fisherman felt a rush of fear and anxiety. He didn't know what to do, but his nobility and chivalry wouldn't let him abandon her in her time of need. Without hesitation, he said, "I'll do everything I can to protect you. I won't let the emperor take your child. I'll find a safe place for you." He began to think of a place to hide the mermaid far from the evil emperor's eyes. He knew the challenge would be great, but he was ready to face all odds to save her and her baby from this dark fate. As the fisherman looked at the anguished mermaid, he thought quickly, knowing time was running out. The mermaid couldn't stay out of the water for long, and he needed to find her a safe place to give birth without the emperor discovering her. Suddenly, he remembered a small lake situated between the mountainous caves. This lake was far from any prying eyes, an abandoned place no one ever visited. He felt this might be the perfect place to hide her. A lake with pure water surrounded by rocks and mountains, making it extremely difficult to find. Without wasting any more time, he carefully carried the mermaid to his small boat and began the journey to the lake. His heart was filled with anxiety and fear for her, but he knew he had to stay strong to help her. As they approached the lake, the mermaid's moans of pain grew louder, increasing the fisherman's worry. When they finally reached the lake, the fisherman guided the boat to the rocky shore. He gently placed the mermaid into the calm waters, feeling a bit relieved to see her breathe deeply. He stayed by her side, trying to alleviate her suffering as much as possible. After a long struggle and enduring hope, the mermaid gave birth in that serene lake. The child was beautiful, glowing like moonlight. The fisherman felt grateful for being able to help her, yet he knew the danger had not ended. The evil emperor would not give up so easily. The fisherman looked at the mermaid as she lovingly cradled her newborn and knew his responsibility was not over. He had to protect her and her child from any harm, no matter the cost. Days passed, and the fisherman stayed by the mermaid's side, caring for her and her child with utmost devotion. He felt blessed by the mermaid's presence in his life and was determined to repay her in every way possible. However, he began to notice something unusual. Her health started deteriorating gradually. At first, she was weak, which he thought was normal post-childbirth. But as time went by, her condition worsened. He watched her wither away slowly, as if life itself was withdrawing from her. Her radiant skin faded, and her eyes, once full of life, became dim. The fisherman was terrified, not knowing what was happening or how to help her. One day, as he sat beside her, he noticed her breaths becoming slower and her voice faint. He tried to speak to her, but she could barely respond. She seemed on the brink of death. He moved closer, feeling helpless and anxious. She whispered weakly, "I have exhausted my energy staying away from the sea for so long. We mermaids need seawater to regain our strength, but I couldn't return because of the danger that follows me." The fisherman was stunned. He didn't know mermaids needed seawater to survive. Realizing the shocking truth, he felt a deep sorrow. The mermaid had been sacrificing her life for her child, placing the baby's life above all else. Her trembling words and weak resolve pained him greatly. "But why didn't you tell me the lake wasn't enough?" he asked in a frantic tone. The mermaid replied in a quivering and faint voice, "We had no other choice. My child's life was most important. I couldn't risk returning to the sea. The emperor would have found us." The fisherman's heart raced with fear. "I'll take you to the sea right now. I won't let you die. I'll do everything I can. You'll heal, and you'll take care of your child as you wished." But the mermaid grasped his arm with a trembling hand, her eyes losing their luster. "It's too late, kind human. I have one last request." The fisherman leaned in carefully. "Ask anything," he said. She struggled to speak. "Take my child with you. Raise him among your children. Care for him for my sake after I'm gone." The fisherman felt a shiver run through him and responded emotionally. "No, no, you won't die. I'll take you to the sea and you'll live. You'll raise your child. He will be a great emperor, and he will free the seven seas from that evil emperor." But with great difficulty, The mermaid stopped him, saying, "Please, I don't have much time left. I trust you to care for him as needed. Please do not abandon him. Promise me." The fisherman hesitated for a moment, but then softly responded, "I promise, but how can he live among humans?" The mermaid looked at him weakly and said, "He is half human and possesses great abilities. That's why the emperor fears him. He is the strongest being in the seas and will need your protection." The fisherman felt confused but agreed, knowing his responsibility had become greater than he imagined. Suddenly, the mermaid's fins stopped moving, and her struggling chest fell into an eternal calm. The fisherman gazed at her with tear-filled eyes, realizing with deep sorrow and pain that she had passed away. He felt a great weight in his heart, never expecting it to end so tragically. The fisherman sat beside the still body of the mermaid, watching her in silence, realizing how noble she had been in sacrificing her life for her child. Pain washed over him, but now he had to fulfill his promise to her. He looked at the tiny newborn cradled in her arms and understood that his mission was not only to keep his word, but to protect and raise the child as if he were his own. He stood quietly, gently lifting the newborn into his arms, and gazed at the mermaid one last time. In a soft, broken voice, he said, "I will take care of him, as I promised you. I won't let you down." He buried the mermaid properly, with tear-filled eyes. Then he left the place, carrying the newborn who might hold within him the fate of the seven seas. Tears in his eyes, telling the story of the sacrifice witnessed on this sorrowful day. After burying the mermaid in a distant cave among the mountains, the fisherman made sure to mark her grave with a special sign, so he wouldn't forget its location, allowing him to visit and tell her of his loyalty to his promise. He felt the weight of the responsibility she had entrusted to him with her departed hands, but he was determined to protect her son and raise him as he had vowed. Years passed, and the child whom the mermaid had named before her death grew up. She named him Erios, after his deceased father. He was a child of extraordinary beauty, captivating all with his enchanting features inherited from his mother. Yet, the fisherman allowed no one to know his secret, caring for him as if he were his own son, shielding him from any danger that might come from the sea or the evil emperor still searching for him. Every Friday, the fisherman would take the child to the cave where he buried his mother. He would sit beside him in front of the grave and tell him about his mother's sacrifices, her bravery, and her escape from the emperor's evil to protect him. He spoke of the beauty of her spirit and the nobility she displayed even in her hardest moments. He would say, "I promised your mother that I would protect you and teach you until you come of age, and until the day you can fulfill your destiny." Young Erios listened intently, feeling proud of what his mother had done for him. He knew that one day he would have to face his destiny and free the seven seas from the tyrannical emperor who still pursued him. As time passed, the fisherman began to feel that the moment he feared was approaching. Young Erios had grown into a strong young man and began to question his abilities and the future that awaited him. Erios's powers began to manifest clearly, astonishing everyone around him. It wasn't just his extraordinary abilities that drew attention, but also his exceptional beauty. His facial features were perfect, embodying elegance and strength, and his physique was remarkably well-proportioned and strong. There was no one like him among humans, and he garnered admiration and respect from all. Erios became the center of attention for everyone who saw him, and his stories were told everywhere. He displayed extraordinary abilities such as super strength, incredible speed, and the power to control natural elements, which stirred concern in some and hope in others. Despite this, Erios remained humble and held a deep appreciation for what the hunter had taught him. He did not seek the spotlight or to attract attention. Instead, he used his abilities wisely, in line with the values of nobility and honor he was raised with. Every week, he visited his mother's grave, where he continued to talk to her, sharing the challenges he faced and the progress he made in mastering his powers. As people began to realize that Erios was not just an ordinary person, he himself felt that the time had come to embrace the responsibility he was born for. Gradually, he understood that he was not merely someone with exceptional abilities, but the hope that could free the seven seas from the evil emperor and fulfill what his mother had hoped he would achieve. The long-awaited day had finally arrived for Erios. It was time to fulfill his promise. The young man sat next to his father, the fisherman, his eyes glowing with determination and resolve. After years of preparation and training, he told the fisherman that he was ready to face the Emperor of the Seven Seas, who had been threatening the oceanic kingdom with his darkness. This was no small challenge, and the fisherman felt a deep worry. He had grown to love Erios as if he were his own son, and the thought of losing him in the battle against the evil emperor troubled him deeply. However, he knew this was Erios' destiny, and that he could not escape this sacred duty. Exchanging glances filled with pain and love, the fisherman spoke in a broken voice. "I'm proud of you, but I fear for you. You've become like a son to me, and I wish you to be safe." Erios responded firmly and ambitiously. "I understand how you feel, and I appreciate your concern. But we must defend our right and free the seven seas from tyranny. I promised my mother on her grave that I would do this, and I will keep my promise." Gathering all his courage despite the pain he felt, the fisherman gave the young man one last look. "Go and be brave. In your fight, you'll find not just your own strength, but also the spirit of your mother that dwells within you. I believe in you." Erios took a deep breath, then turned and headed toward the sea where the Emperor of the Seven Seas awaited, sensing the impending challenge. He boarded his boat, steeling himself for the grand battle that would determine the fate of the Seven Seas. The journey towards the final confrontation began, and Erios was ready to face whatever fate had in store for him, inspired by his love for his mother and his father's will as a fisherman. When the fierce storm struck, it turned the boat upside down, and Erios found himself floundering in the raging sea. The waves rose and crashed violently, and when he fell into the water, he felt something unfamiliar creeping into his body. As he struggled to swim, he noticed that his body began to change. Fins and a shimmering silverfish tail started to emerge clearly on his masculine form. Erios was astonished by the sudden transformation, yet he felt a new power surging within him. He could swim easily and smoothly, as if the sea was merging with his body. This discovery was truly shocking for him. He had no idea he possessed the ability to transform into a half-fish, half-human creature. As he entered the water, while the waves played with him, he felt a sense of strength and control over the ocean, moving with incredible speed through the waves. Gradually, Erios realized that this transformation was part of the abilities inherited from his mother. He possessed a natural weapon that enhanced his strength and fighting skills. He now had to adapt to this change and use it to his advantage in facing the evil emperor. In harmony with the sea, Erios began to master his new abilities. He drew confidence from this sudden power and became more determined than ever to achieve his goal. The waves led him to an unknown path, but now he was equipped with new tools to confront the challenges awaiting him in the depths of the ocean. Erios dove into the depths of the sea, where he found himself in a fantastical world beyond all imagination. The scene before him was enchanting and wondrous. An ocean of shimmering colors radiated from the diverse fish in vibrant hues and the shining coral reefs. The lights emanating from the marine creatures illuminated the water beautifully, giving the underwater world an incredible charm. The place resembled a magical kingdom beneath the surface of the sea. The pearl oysters shone like precious jewels, and the coral reefs formed in stunning colors and intricate shapes, while the marine creatures danced in perfect harmony, as if they were part of a magical show. Erios was mesmerized by the beauty and splendor of the scene. As he swam with his half-human, half-fish body among the seaweed and shimmering colors, he felt as if he were in a magical dream. This moment was for him a new revelation of the beauty and power of the sea, and he began to realize that this world was more than just a place filled with danger. It was also a marvelous and magical place harboring secrets he had never known before. While Erios was swimming through the depths of the mythical sea kingdom, a captivating sound of a flute playing a beautiful melody caught his attention from within a huge conch shell. The sound was so astonishing and beautiful that it made him sway from its sheer elegance, as if the melody was pulling at his heart and touching the depths of his soul. He approached the large conch shell, and as he grasped its edges, he slowly opened it to reveal a small flute that shimmered with iridescent colors. A peculiar sea creature, resembling a blend of a human and a mermaid, sat next to the flute, playing a heart-capturing tune. The notes from the flute filled the water around them with a mysterious and magical tone, reflecting feelings of both sorrow and joy simultaneously. Erios felt as though the melody was speaking directly to him, filling him with new vitality and inspiration. Erios turned towards the flute player and asked, "Who are you, and how do you create such beauty?" The flute player lifted his wise eyes and replied, "I am the enchanted flutist, from a tribe of musicians who dwell in the ocean's depths. These tunes express the sea's stories and the secrets known only to a few. I come here to impart the knowledge you need to fulfill your destiny." Young Erios seemed ready to listen and seek further guidance. The music took him to a realm of dreams and hope, resonating within him, reminding him of the many secrets and abilities that could assist him in his upcoming battle. The enchanted flutist accompanied the handsome young Erios, certain that he was the destined emperor, as sea creatures often possess strong foresight and intuition. The flutist informed him of his unique ability to freeze evil energies with his playing and promised to aid him in his quest. As they swam in harmony, they encountered a fish shimmering with all the colors of the cosmos, radiating hues with every move. It swam in a mesmerizing manner, embodying the colors of the rainbow in the ocean's depths. It looked at them cheerfully and said, "At last, our Savior, you have arrived. The prophecy shall be fulfilled." Erios was captivated by its unique beauty, but the smile on its face held a deeper meaning. It said, "Do not be deceived by my beauty, for I possess greater powers. I can illuminate the darkest ocean depths with an unparalleled light. You will need me on your journey, so take me with you." Erios gazed intently at the rainbow-hued fish, realizing that this power could be crucial against the evil emperor. With such an ally, they had a better chance at victory. He said, "Thank you for your offer. I will include you in my journey, and together, we will achieve the goal that everyone has strived for." They continued their journey, each bringing unique strengths and abilities. The piper played a melody that dispelled evil energies, while the radiant fish lit the way with its vibrant colors. They were prepared for whatever awaited them in the deep sea, determined to fulfill their destined role. Erios felt as if he were surrounded by extraordinary soldiers aiding him in achieving his goal. Swimming with his glittering silver tail and fins, he discovered many surprising abilities within himself that he had never known before. During their journey, they encountered a group of beautiful mermaids performing a mesmerizing dance, creating an artwork unmatched in beauty. Erios approached, enchanted by the scene. Among them, he noticed a breathtaking mermaid at the center. She danced with exceptional grace, her golden fins and shimmering hair making her the most beautiful creature Erios had ever seen, stirring unfamiliar emotions within him. The piper noted Erios's profound admiration and said with a cunning smile, "This is Princess Anastasia, the Emperor's daughter. Her beauty and strength reflect her noble lineage." Erios froze, a mix of amazement and admiration flooding his senses. Princess Anastasia embodied everything he had dreamed of in terms of beauty and power. He felt their meeting was no mere coincidence, but might play a crucial role in his grand mission. Erios swam skillfully toward the Golden Mermaid, who had never seen such beauty in the depths of the sea. When he drew near, she was stunned by his presence and realized that he was the future emperor who might threaten her father's peace. The mermaid recoiled, refusing to speak or even look at him. Erios tried to approach, but she vehemently rejected him and quickly left, leaving him captivated and troubled. Erios realized that things wouldn't be easy, especially when his affection for the mermaid might conflict with his primary mission against her father. Struggling to ignore his feelings, he focused on the upcoming battle, continuing his journey with his companions, the piper and the rainbow-hued fish. As they traveled, Erios began to wonder how the beautiful mermaid would affect his mission. Could he face her father effectively with this inner turmoil? Or would there be unexpected ways to deal with these emotions? Over time, he stayed preoccupied with his friends, journeying through the depths towards their showdown with the evil emperor, filled with strength and hope for victory. As Erios, the piper, and the rainbow-colored fish made their way to the grand palace in the depths of the sea, they heard a deep, moving sound emanating from a large, old whale lying on the ground. Erios approached the whale, which looked tired and frail. In a trembling voice, the whale said, "I have hidden your legendary sword in my depths for years, young one. Your mother entrusted me with it, asking me to give it to you once you reach maturity. Now, the time has come for me to fulfill my duty. You need to cut open my belly and take it." Erios was taken aback, refusing flatly what he had just heard. He said, "I cannot harm you, no matter the circumstances. How can I cut open your belly to retrieve the sword?" The whale gently smiled and said, "I will not die if you do this. On the contrary, I will be happy. I lost my youth a long time ago, and this was due to the sacrifice I made to protect the Emperor's sword. The energy of the sword was powerful within me, draining my youthfulness. By removing the sword, I will regain my vitality." Realizing the weight of the burden the whale had been carrying, Erios knew that helping him was necessary. With internal anguish, he prepared for the difficult task. Summoning his courage, he began to carefully cut open the whale's belly, trying his best to minimize its pain. When he opened the whale's belly, he found the legendary sword glowing with energy, wrapped in a piece of ancient sea cloth. The young man took the sword with trembling hands and sincerely thanked the whale for its sacrifice. The whale, smiling with happiness, said, "Now, this sword will enable you to confront the evil emperor with all its power. Use it wisely, and when you succeed in your mission, the memory of the sacrifice I made to protect you will be immortalized forever. It has been an honor for me to carry the emperor's sword in my belly." With the legendary sword in hand, Erios, the piper, and the rainbow-colored fish continued their journey, filled with hope and newfound strength, determined to face the great challenges ahead. When they arrived at the massive gate of the majestic palace deep in the sea, they were taken aback by a barrage of arrows raining down from every direction. The arrows were fired with speed and force, forming a deadly pattern that aimed to stop them before they could enter the palace. They quickly retreated, seeking shelter behind large rocks, as the arrows scattered around them. It was clear that the emperor had prepared well for their arrival. The tension was palpable, the combat intense, shrouded in a dark, ominous atmosphere. Erios tried to use his newly acquired legendary sword, but the onslaught of arrows hindered his movement. Thinking quickly, he gathered the new abilities he had gained from the whale and used them to direct his sword towards the arrows, channeling his energy to halt the enemy's attack. At the same time, the piper summoned his magical power through his flute, playing a tune that enhanced their protective abilities and resilience against the arrows. As for the rainbow fish, it used its ability to spread colors to create a unique protective shield around them. They managed to withstand the initial attack and began advancing towards the gate. The challenges grew increasingly difficult, but with their determination and harmonious strength, they succeeded in crossing the gate and reaching the inside. Inside the palace, they were about to face the evil emperor, who was awaiting their arrival. The young man's heart was pounding, ready to confront the greatest challenge of his journey, driven by courage and hope for victory. Suddenly, a golden mermaid with golden hair threw herself in front of Erios, crying and pleading. She said in a trembling voice, "Please don't kill my father. I beg you. I know he is cruel and has hurt many, but he is still my father whom I love dearly." Erios paused, feeling a deep sorrow seep into his heart. The golden mermaid's emotions were taking part of his strength and resolve. He looked at her with empathy and said in a voice filled with sadness, "I understand your feelings, and I know how hard it is to be in such a situation. But I have no other choice. To fulfill the prophecy and save the sea from the evil that pervades it, I must confront and defeat the emperor. It is his fate, and there's no escaping the decree of destinies." Erios added, feeling the weight of responsibility, "I promise I will do what is necessary to achieve good, but it will not be without pain. Your feelings and your father's will remain in my heart, and I will try to achieve victory in a way that preserves everyone's dignity." The mermaid was moved by his words, feeling the inner conflict. She knew that Erios was right, but the pain of losing her father tainted her heart. She closed her eyes, trying to find the strength to deal with the situation. Erios and his friends proceeded into the palace, where the emperor awaited him. The difficult decision weighed on his mind as he was determined to fulfill the prophecy and save the sea, bearing the responsibility of his actions and their impact on the mermaid who loved her father deeply. It was time for the great confrontation. Erios held his legendary sword in hand, ready to face the evil emperor. Beside him, the piper played a magical symphony that quelled the dark energy, while the rainbow fish surrounded him with a halo of glowing colors, like a shield protecting him from attacks. Erios looked at the emperor with unsettling confidence and said in a firm voice, "You have tyrannized for too long, and your oppression has lasted. It's time for all this evil you spread in the Seven Seas Kingdom to end. It's time for love and safety to prevail." The emperor let out a roar of anger, and the battle between him and Erios began. The piper continued playing his magical tune, weakening the emperor's evil powers, while the brightly colored fish surrounded Erios, protecting him from attacks and increasing his strength. Erios and the emperor exchanged blows, Erios's sword cutting with precision and power, while the piper enhanced Erios's protection and supported him with a magical melody. The battle was intense and filled with tension, but Erios's strength and his friend's confidence made him advance. In the end, Erios managed to deliver a decisive strike, causing the emperor to fall and be defeated. The golden mermaid hurried to her father, who was on the brink of death, holding him in her arms with tears streaming down her face. Despite knowing it was a deserved punishment, she couldn't bear the sight of her father's agonizing death at the hands of Erios. She looked at Erios with eyes full of hatred, as if blaming him for her father's death. This scene deeply saddened Erios, especially since he had fallen in love with the mermaid. As Erios wrestled with these conflicting emotions, he was surprised to find all the fish and whales lifting him up joyfully. They placed him on a golden throne and handed him the keys to the seven seas kingdom, expressing their respect and appreciation for him and placing a jeweled crown on his head. Erios sat on the golden throne, with the crown of the kingdom adorning his head, while all the sea creatures lined up before him, pledging their loyalty and allegiance. As the Seven Seas Kingdom welcomed a new era of peace and prosperity, Erios felt both sorrow and joy, surrounded by the love and respect of the kingdom and all its creatures. The Golden Mermaid secluded herself and declared a period of mourning. Erios, the new emperor, felt her sorrow and didn't know how to reach her heart. One day, the fortune-telling mermaid came to the grieving Golden Mermaid, her eyes shining with wisdom and sternness. She addressed the mermaid with a firm tone, saying, "The prophecy says you must become the empress, the wife of Emperor Erios. You cannot refuse to fulfill this prophecy, as it will disrupt the order of the Seven Seas Kingdom. You must obey to ensure the kingdom's stability and avoid chaos." The Golden Mermaid listened with anxiety, tears glistening in her eyes. She knew the prophecy could not be ignored, but her heart was filled with sorrow and uncertainty about moving forward with this fated destiny. She could not bear the thought of being the wife of Emperor Erios, who had slain her father with his sword. She felt that fulfilling the prophecy meant betraying her father's memory and sacrificing her personal principles. She struggled to manage her conflicting feelings between her duty to the kingdom and her deep sorrow. Her destiny was complicated, yet she knew that defying the prophecy could lead to catastrophic consequences for the kingdom. After deep and painful contemplation, the Golden Mermaid reluctantly agreed to marry Emperor Erios. Grand celebrations were held in the Seven Seas Kingdom, with the palace and kingdom adorned with colors and lights to celebrate the event. The Golden Mermaid was crowned alongside Erios as empress, wearing a sparkling crown that shimmered under the sea's light. Despite the sorrow that gripped her heart, she tried to adapt to her new role, hoping that her marriage would mark the beginning of an era of peace and stability in the kingdom. As Emperor Erios looked at her with pride, the Golden Mermaid wondered how to balance her new duty with the memories of her father that never left her mind. After ascending to the throne beside Emperor Erios, the Golden Mermaid began to notice the positive changes in the kingdom. She clearly saw how the new regime brought happiness, security, and stability to the Seven Seas Kingdom, realizing the extent of the injustice and oppression her father had inflicted on marine creatures. She began to reassess her thoughts, particularly after witnessing Erios's nobility, compassion, and dedication to the kingdom. Though she initially rejected him as a husband, she discovered that he never forced her into anything but gave her complete freedom in her life and treated her with kindness and mercy. Over time, the Golden Mermaid's feelings towards Erios began to change. She found a new place in her heart for admiration and appreciation, realizing that her marriage to him was not just about fulfilling a prophecy, but was the beginning of a new opportunity for life and positive change. As time passed, the Golden Mermaid's feelings for Emperor Erios deepened. She began to feel profound love and respect for him, not just for his noble character and actions, but also for showing her genuine respect and love. Thanks to this true love, she joined Erios in efforts to improve the kingdom and make it a better place for all marine creatures. While the Golden Mermaid adapted to her new role as empress, her marriage to Erios became a relationship filled with love and understanding. Erios appreciated and respected her, showing her that he considered her his true partner. With each passing day, their relationship deepened, and the Golden Mermaid found in Erios the love and support she had never experienced before. Meanwhile, Erios never forgot the fisherman father who raised and cared for him. He frequently visited him and honored him with immense gratitude. He also began regularly visiting his mother's grave, keeping her memory alive and honoring her with the respect she deserved. This show of respect and honor by Erios reflected the goodness and nobility of his character, making the Golden Mermaid realize how right she was to give love and happiness another chance. In the end, the kingdom became a place filled with love and justice, and peace prevailed thanks to the collaboration of the Golden Mermaid and Erios. Their strong and noble love became a symbol of hope and positive change, making the Seven Seas Kingdom live in harmony and happiness.